Eeny, meeny, miny, nope. Hey guys, Clef here. So today we're gonna look at the OneXPlayer 2 Pro with the 8840U. Now this is the OTC, the perfect video to get a first hands-on and also prepare your questions if you have any for the actual review. Let's dive in. Now we'll have a quick look at the accessories. Of course, I did the OneXPlayer X1 a few days ago. And one thing I noticed, the keyboard is not the same, which, you know, makes sense when you think about it. This is the X1 keyboard. This is the 2 Pro keyboard. So it is a little bit smaller, so we'll try that. We also have this carry pouch. So let's start with that. Okay, so the carry pouch is pretty straightforward with a little felt here to protect your screen, but much like the X1, there's no net or anything. Now the keyboard, of course, we'll try on the device. So enjoy my time anywhere and anytime. This is just a piece of felt glue. So I would assume these are probably the controllers. Now, I haven't shied away from personally thinking as far as a 3.1 concept, right? Because this is a lot of what One Netbook does. They promote having a 3-in-1 device, which arguably any other handheld PC can do that. But OneXPlayer really focuses on bringing that experience forward. And in my opinion, the OneXPlayer 2 Pro does not do it best. I think the X1 already is better for that. I'm trying to revisit the concept and see if I feel any different. So empty box. Here we have the 2 controllers. Now, of course, I don't want to make this video OneXPlayer X1 versus the 2 Pro, but that video will come at a later time. So right now we'll just focus on the 2 Pro for the most part. These are some big controllers. I mean, they have more buttons. I like that. Man, they're they're bulky. All right. Yeah. So we have charger, USB-C cable. Okay, that's 100. Anyways, here it is. Now, of course, the main unit with a little tab here to take it out. There's a little bit of extra stuff here. Instructions. You know what? I'm not gonna pull on that one because I'm pretty sure it's not a pull tab. Well, the rest is a piece of foam, the overall box. All right, the OneXPlayer manual. Thank you for your purchase. The usual. Whoop whoop, the best part. All right, guys, the video is done. The plastic has come out. That's what everyone is here for. Now, the X1 has a film pre-installed. Oh, it is the case here as well. So that's nice. Let's put in the controllers. Oh, there was a weird sound. There is very, very little flex. I like that. Barely any. It's like a weird sound when sliding it in. I mean, it is a bulky device. I have to say the controllers, when I originally grabbed them, I wasn't too sure. They feel better once they're attached to the main unit. Let's have the keyboard. That's a strong magnet. It kind of gives a weird tilt if laying down. I don't know why you would want to do that. Being held up like this, it's kind of decent actually. This also clicks. Really at the bottom, doesn't click in the middle or in the upper portion of it. I was wondering, should I do that again? All right. Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's not happening. The hold is actually less strong than the X1. I mean, I'm pretty sure the X1 is heavier. I don't have the specs with me, but it actually somewhat held. It's not holding here. So this is the keyboard, a pretty nice one actually. It's funny because as far as like the magnet from a distance, I find that this is stronger than on the X1, but the X1 overall has a tighter hold on the device. Let's power this thing up. Where's the power button? Oh, actually, you know what? Let's go over the device. Okay, so we have volume up and down, turbo, power button. It might be a fingerprint reader, I'm not sure. Micro SD, USB-A, USB-C, 3.5mm jack, air outtake, air intake. Is there 2 air intake? I'm not sure at this point. And then USB-C at the bottom. And that's pretty much it. Oh, we have RGB coming up. RGB here, 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 and here. With that beautiful orange glow. You'll have to apologize. I am making a lot of changes right now on my filming setup, and one of them is the lighting. So, you know, it seems very not bright on the screen, but I assure you it's not because it isn't, it's because of the lighting in the room. Or maybe it's just the way it comes across on the camera and it'll be just fine. We'll find out once I edit this thing. So we'll just fast forward to the part where I'm done with all this initial setup. All right, it is all installed. Well, Windows that is, so I'm still gonna have to install Steam and some game will operate Contra Operation Galuga, but we're gonna do that right away. So far, actually, let me crank the brightness a little bit if I can. There you go. So far, I like the feel of it. This feels way lighter than the X1, and the ergonomics, again, once the controllers are attached, makes a lot more sense than they would originally when just holding the controller. The screen is bright, very pretty, so you know, nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty sure it's 120 Hertz. I'm hoping it is. Let's confirm. Let's just confirm to be sure. It is 60? Oh, wow, that's unfortunate. So I guess that panel is not available in 120 Hertz. I mean, not the end of the world, but yeah. As far as the colors though, everything looks good, everything looks bright. I do prefer the fact that you have buttons here for like function. You know, here is keyboard, here is, I believe, the RGB. Yes, the RGB. Now I'm not sure what this one is though. I would have thought, oh, that might be home actually. Yeah, that might be what it is. So let's reopen the RGB. Now, I'm kind of curious. Okay, so that's why they have a dedicated button. They definitely have less options when it comes to RGB. You can't go color, you're stuck to orange. I gotta say that's a little unfortunate. I mean, it's funny because as far as the chipset, of course, I'd much rather have 8840U, and I think it's gonna be a lovely device, and I'll add it to the benchmarks. With that said, there's a lot more other features that the X1 has that this one doesn't so far that I wish it did. You know, like the RGB, the different colors you can have. Okay, so normally, if everything goes according to plan here, we should have the UMA buffer and all these different options. Where do I go for that? Wait, have they removed that option as well? Nah, that can't be. You know what, I guess we'll go a little deeper with that when the review comes. All right, let's put this thing back. I'll put in my password. Gotta say, I'm really liking the keyboard. I'm probably liking it a bit more. Of course, you don't have as many keys, but the small form factor and to just connect it and disconnect it real quick for whenever you need it, I find works best on this device. However, you know, it's not the main purpose of it, so still a great addition to have. Now, when it comes to this so far, like I said, I'm really liking the ergonomics. There's this one thing, this one thought that keeps coming to mind, which is that arguably you would think, okay, well, this is the better device to play games, right? However, I'm not ready to say that it is just yet. There are some obvious differences, especially in the sticks, but you know what? Let's play games. Now, performance, that goes without saying. I expect far superior performances here. The sound seems decent. It sounds full. I have to say, I think it's going to be another well-sounding device. It definitely sounds full. It sounds good. Is it not letting me? Oh no, it's not letting me use it uncapped. Oh Lord. I'm not going to be able to compare it properly. The i55H wasn't even able to keep 60 FPS steady. So let's see if at least this device can do that. But keep in mind, much like I was on the X1, I am using the native resolution. So who knows? It's far steadier for the time being. Anyone who's seen my X1 video, I'm sure you will be able to agree to that. There's a little bit of hiccups, but not as noticeable as what we had on the X1. We are on 15 watt TDP, exactly the same as we were on the X1. So this is what comes, you know, stock essentially, but we can up it if we need. All right, so this is infinitely smoother than it was on the X1. And again, you know, that was one thing that kind of caught me a little off guard because yes, it is a new game, but it is not a hard game to run. So I was surprised at how challenging this seemed to run on the 155H. Now, unfortunately, because this game caps at the maximum refresh rate of the screen, I'm not able to use that as a benchmark or effectively. You see, okay, so we're seeing something interesting here. There's a lot more happening in the back, and we saw the FPS dip a little. Now, from what I remember, I experienced more hiccups on the X1, but surprisingly, this feels almost on par right now. Interesting. I did not expect that. Of course, the quality of the image is sharper because it is a smaller panel on the same resolution, but it's not by any means a meaningful enough difference that be concerned about that at all. The vibration is much like it was on the X1, very decent. Let's crank it up all the way. It's more subtle. I gotta say right now, it is on the upper tier of Rumble in general. And when I say Rumble in general, I'm talking about any other handheld I've played with, any controller I've played with, because it's, well, first, it's not noisy. I'm sure you guys probably don't hear it. That goes to show. But it's also very, I wouldn't say HD, but it seems to be very defined. However, it is not very shaky. Like, you don't feel it a lot. Whereas the X1 is also very silent, very layered, very defined, but it is also shakier. Now that probably, so here's what I would think. I would think these are exactly the same motors. However, because these controllers are bulkier, the motors are probably in a larger space, so the vibrations don't carry as well. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. But this is definitely a benefit that the X1 has. All right, guys, so we'll leave it at that for the tests. I'm really liking the ergonomics of it. I think the weight balance is also very good. As far as a handheld goes, I'm not at the point where I feel like I could say, oh, the X1 is not as good. And just talking about the overall ergonomics and playing with it, the X1 is surprisingly very comfortable to hold. I'm comfortable saying I like the controller better. You know, I wish there was an extra button here or there like it does on the 2 Pro, but as far as the controller goes, these feel more man, so wow, I'm gonna need to play with these two a lot to determine which one I like best. I will be reviewing both of these devices, of course, but before I do, I'm actually working on a showcase of 20 games where I'm gonna put them head to head. So I don't want to make it a benchmark because it's probably going to be too intensive, but just, you know, giving you guys left and right, one on the X1 and the other one on the 2 Pro. So let me know if you guys have any specific games you'd like to see. That'll probably happen in a week and a half to 2 weeks, give or take. And yeah, I have a lot more videos planned out, a comparison, a versus one, and all the good stuff. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Clef out. Peace.